Hello. Tonight is going to be so much fun because we're all sitting virtually in Katie Bauer, who is the director of Nourished Health Center in Denver, Colorado. We're sitting virtually in her office tonight chatting about food allergies and the immune system. Just in time for that flu season, cold season, so stay tuned. Hello and welcome to GFree and Happy. That happens every Monday night at 7 p.m. Pacific Time, 10 p.m. Eastern. I'm your host, Kathy. I've been gluten-free for many years now, and I still have some issues with health, like I get sinus infections. In fact, I'm getting one tonight. So this is a perfect time to talk to a nutritionist. And it wasn't too hard to find her. She's really easy to find actually on Google. I just Googled, I think, immune system, gluten-free, and I found her. So we have her. She said yes. I'm so excited. She's full of information, and we'll be talking to her in a couple minutes. This is, we have Katie Bauer from Denver, Colorado on, and she's a nutritionist. And she's actually the director of Nourished Health Center in Denver, Colorado, too, which is pretty cool. So, episode 7, tonight's episode of GFree and Happy is brought to you by Oval Eye TV. Oval Eye TV hosts and produces live video events built to meet your objective. Visit ovaleye.tv to request a free 30-minute consultation today to find out more about going live with your brand. So I'm also going to start, and I started last week on the last episode. I want to highlight fun gluten-free products that I enjoy. And so tonight, in fact, if you have a gluten-free product you want me to highlight, please email me at kathy@gfreeandhappy.com and I'd be happy to highlight your product. Tonight, I found this product. Actually, it was in my Christmas gift basket. It's called Endangered Species. It's so yummy. Yes, a gluten-free gift basket from my husband from Whole Foods. And I hadn't tried this candy. It's on the screen here. It's really, really good. But there's a couple reasons why I really enjoy it. Is because when you go shopping, you can't read labels very well with the lighting in grocery stores. So finding if it's G-free on a dark package or whatever you have is almost impossible. So right here, I shall show you. Right here in the corner, it says certified gluten-free. It's one of my favorite things I found. So then on the other side, it has ingredients, which are hardly any. So I assume we'll talk to a nutritionist, but I'm guessing the less ingredients in a product, the better. So it's very tasty, and I recommend it. And it's chocolate. So after tonight's episode, with a little bit of red wine, I'll be enjoying it. So without further ado, let's get Katie on and talk about the immune system. I really need a boost. So let's get Katie on. Hello, Katie. So nice to have you on our show tonight. I should say before we start with Katie, if you have any questions, please let us know, and I will show or I'll give them to Katie as they go. So welcome, Katie. Yes, in the chat. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, thanks, Kathy, for having me. I'm so excited.
I am.
I am a nutrition therapist, a clinical herbalist, and a healing food chef. My private office is in Denver, Colorado, and I'm also the director of Nourished Health Center here in Denver, Colorado. I also have a cooking school that specializes in food allergies and food intolerances. So it's a cooking school that's completely gluten, dairy, soy, corn, egg, refined sugar-free, and then other intolerances as they come up. And let's see, and I work primarily with folks that have digestive health issues or blood sugar issues, and lots of folks that are celiac or non-celiac gluten intolerant.
I'm curious, the blood sugar thing, because I've had that in the years too. I mean, none of these are like connected, are they? Are they just because you have these things? Why do you have the blood sugar problem? If you don't mind me asking.
Oh, yeah. Everything's connected.
Yes.
So there definitely is a connection. Part of it is that diabetes is an autoimmune condition, as is celiac disease. And once you have one, it's much easier to get other autoimmune conditions. And then part of it is that, we have such a hyper refined food system. We eat so many products that are full of sugar and full of processed ingredients, and they really hit our bloodstream really fast. And when we're constantly eating all of these high sugary foods, it makes it much more likely that our blood sugar will bounce up and down, and we'll have blood sugar dysregulation. And over time, our cells can become less receptive to insulin, and then we can develop diabetes. But definitely connected. I do have concerns that a lot of the gluten-free foods that are out there are very high in sugars, very refined and processed, and can kind of continue to aggravate the issues with blood sugar.
That is a really good point, because some of the guests that I've already had and connected with through social media, they've been saying that too, that the refined sugar in even gluten-free products, and I think it's been on the news lately too, but that's a big reason to maybe try and have them figure out another way to, I don't know, create their products. Is there another way? Can we do it with the agave? Is agave, by the way, full of sugar? I wanted to ask you that too. Uh-oh, she froze. Hold on. She'll be back. Hey, nice picture.
Food.
There she is. You froze there. Are you back?
Oh.
Yeah, there you are. Can you see me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You're okay. Ooh. It's all right. It happens.
Well, yeah. What was your question?
So I just kind of put it all together. Agave syrup. Let's start with that. I've been hearing a ton of stuff lately that's full of like refined sugar. Is that a bad thing for people?
I would say so. So agave is lower glycemic than some of the sweeteners. However, it's really high in fructose. Fructose is really difficult for our liver to deal with and to process. So over time, it can cause a lot of liver problems, any of the high fructose foods. So agave is definitely one that I suggest people avoid.
Well, I just bought a big bottle of it, but I want to avoid it. So if I want sweetener, because I like a little sweetener in coffees or whatever, what do I use?
My first choice is stevia. So stevia is non-glycemic. It tastes sweet, but it actually is not a sugar. So it doesn't affect your blood sugar at all. So that's my first choice. But a lot of people have a hard time getting used to the flavor of stevia. And so in that case, I suggest coconut syrup or coconut sugar. That would be my second favorite.
Ooh, I like that. Coconut sugar or syrup? Where do you buy that?
It's just becoming more available. Coconut, I think it's called Coconut Secret, I want to say is the name of the company that's putting it out. And then Maranatha has put out a coconut sugar. But it's available in some of the natural food stores.
Wow. Okay. Thank you for that, because I've really been wondering, people have been talking about that. And so thanks for answering it.
Yeah, and it is lower glycemic, and it still has some fructose in it, but it's not nearly as high of fructose as agave, and it's also less processed. So it's a better sweetener all around.
Well, let's get into talking about food allergies and how they affect your immune system, especially me being self-diagnosed for gluten-free. It just kept hurting. I'd go into the doctors. They'd say, you're fine. I had all my organs checked and they were all perfect. So it's like, what the heck's wrong? But for all those years, it really hurt my body and my immune system, and it's really still not up to par. So how do you boost, or wait, let's talk about what do the allergies do to the body?
Sure. So part of the issue too is it's actually not about needing to boost your immune system. It's about needing to calm your immune system down.
Oh,
so
okay.
So the problem is that when we have food intolerances and we continue to eat those foods, our immune system gets over amped up. And so it's constantly in this state of having to fight the antigen, which is the food that we have an allergy or intolerance to. It's constantly having to fight that food. And attack it. And when it's constantly ramped up in that constant ramped up state, it's focusing on the foods that you have an issue with as opposed to the flu or viruses or candida or cancer or things that it should be focusing on. And in this constant ramped up state, there's the potential that it could start attacking other tissues in the body. So there's, more likelihood that when it's constantly fighting foods and it's constantly ramped up, that it'll start attacking tissues, and you could, develop other autoimmune issues as a result.
And how do you know if you're developing autoimmune other issues? I mean, like, take my sinus infections that I get them chronically, and that's another thing that was tested. I'm fine. But why? I mean, so is it like my body is just tired?
Could be your body being tired, but it also means that you have some inflammation going on in your system. So you might have another food intolerance that you haven't figured out yet.
That I haven't figured out.
That's definitely possible. I find that almost never does somebody just have gluten intolerance. Almost always there's other food intolerances that people have that they don't even realize. Gluten is the big one.
Gluten is the big one. And I figured that most of the, population has food allergies and they just don't deal with it. They take I was diagnosed, or, I was given Prilosec in the emergency room. Take this and you'll feel better. And for a while it did. It was fine. But after a while it's like, now I need something else. So, how do you, I guess what I'm asking is that after getting, I'm gluten-free, how do you keep going? How do you check? Do you just kind of test each, what would be next? Let's see, calcium, or, milk, dairy. Would you try that?
Yeah, so definitely you could look at just eliminating the most common food allergens and then doing an elimination diet. That's definitely possible. So you could eliminate gluten, dairy, soy, corn, eggs, and leave them out for about a month and then add one back in, one at a time, to see how your body responds to it. That's definitely possible. You can also do IgG food intolerance testing, where you're testing for the foods. There's the LEAP test and the ALCAT test, and both of those test about 200 foods to see if you have a reaction to them, to see how your cells respond to the foods. So it is possible to do testing for it, either, blood testing or stool testing, or whether you're eliminating the food and testing it by adding it back in yourself.
Well, you're giving tons of information, and what you do on your site, in fact, I almost did. I haven't had a chance to do it, but you have free consultations, and they're like a half hour for anybody, right? That's
true, yes.
So this is what people should be doing too, is talking to nutritionists that can kind of, because tell us a little bit about what a free consultation will entail.
Oh, sure. So I send the person a metabolic assessment, which is a questionnaire about what their body might be doing. So some of the different symptoms they may be experiencing. And then they send that back and we chat for about a half hour via Skype or the phone. And I give them an idea of what those reactions may be indicating. So what could be happening in their body? Is it more digestive issues? Could it be another food intolerance? Could it be a blood sugar issue? Possibly a thyroid issue? So then we look at some of the different potential connections for what they're feeling.
So when they come in then, would you do these tests in your office?
Yeah, so we can run the tests, or if they're not in Denver, then I would send them either, if it's a stool test, I can send it by mail, or I would just have them go somewhere else for the test that they need.
Nice.
Yeah.
So the immune system, going back to the immune system, say people are getting sick and things like that, it's not really boosting, right? You were saying it's not boosting. What would you do in cold season flu, all of this kind of, how would you help your immune system? What kind of tips would you give us?
Well, the first thing I would say is that somebody that has gluten intolerance or celiac disease or really any food intolerance needs to restore their gut integrity. So they need to heal their digestive lining. Otherwise, they continue to develop new food intolerances. So unfortunately, with food intolerances, it indicates that there is leaky gut happening, and that's when different food particles are getting into the bloodstream and the body is attacking them. So it's really important to stop that, because otherwise your body is going to constantly be in that inflamed state, attacking new foods, and you're going to be developing new food intolerances.
Yes, and that happened with me when I got it so bad that dairy, I couldn't have that. It affected me the same way as eating gluten. Mm-hmm. So that is so true. And you mentioned that this section in the email when I first talked to you, and you said the gut leakage or whatever it was, and that's not a real happy topic, but it's very important.
Yeah, it is extremely important. And it's not a pleasant term for sure. Leaky gut isn't a very sexy term, but it's something that we really need to heal out of ourselves, or else we just continue to develop new problems. And that's where a lot of the inflammation comes. And a lot of the sinus problems people have is a definite indication that there's still some inflammation happening in their body.
So instead of taking antibiotics, because I don't want it to last a long time, because those could go on for months, what do you recommend to your clients?
So one thing is to rebuild up the good bacteria in our body. So the beneficial bacteria helps kind of prevent and stave away a lot of the bad bacteria, and also the bad, candida and all of the bad yeast. So it's really important to rebuild up the good bacteria. And the other thing that the good bacteria does is it helps decrease the inflammation in our body, and it helps kind of calm down our immune system from overreacting, they're finding. So that's one of the best things, is the good bacteria, to rebuild that up.
Is that like in yogurt, or what's a good bacteria?
Yeah, so it's in fermented foods. So it's in yogurt, and it's sauerkraut, a lot of kefir, some of the more fermented foods. But often people, especially when they're first diagnosed with celiac disease or food intolerance, or if they've been on antibiotics, they often need to actually take a supplement that has the good bacteria strains in it, so that they can have a high dosage of it.
Okay. And
really re-inoculate their system with it.
That's excellent information for me. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
On your website, and my husband and I have read this too a few times, and I've got to ask you. Okay, so specializing in celiac disease, non-celiac, gluten intolerance, food allergies, food intolerance. This is all things that Katie is specializing in. Digestive health, fatigue, brain fog. Can you tell me what brain fog is, if you wouldn't mind?
It's one of those terms. It's not a medical term. It's something that I just commonly hear from people, that they have brain fog. And it's often, again, a food intolerance, though it could be something else. It could be that they have low neurotransmitters in their brain, certain neurotransmitters, but it's an indication that it's kind of like you can't remember things as well. Certain names, places, faces might be a little foggy. It's just kind of more of this fogginess really is the right word for it, where things just aren't quite snapping right with your brain. And if you've ever had brain fog, then it very much resonates with you.
Well, we're saying here that we always have brain fog. If you guys viewing right now, if you have any questions for Katie before she goes, please let us know, because I've actually got a nutritionist virtually sitting right here answering all my questions. I am so lucky. Katie, why don't you tell us where we can all find you too, so people can look at your site and stuff and get more information?
Sure. So you can go to nourishedhealth.com. And that's my nutrition website. And if you're in Denver, you can go to nhwcenter.org, and that's Nourished Health Center's website. If you're on Facebook, let's see, our Facebook is it is Nourished Health Center. Yeah, so facebook.com/Nourished Health Center.
Actually, I have it on our lower thirds, and it's facebook.com/Nourished Health. No center in it.
Oh, okay.
But well, I searched in Facebook and I found, but I already followed you. So I do recommend everybody check out her website. She has a bunch. And your Twitter, because you're very active in Twitter. What was your Twitter handle?
It's Nourished Health, and there's no E in Nourished because there's not enough spaces for the name. So Nourished Health without an E before the D.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Oh, right. And another one, on your website and on your email and everything after your name, it says MACNENCH. What do all those mean?
Sure. So I have a master's degree, and then I am a certified nutrition educator and a clinical herbalist, and then I also am a healing foods chef. So
how long did it take you to get all of that? You're very young.
So I started, I guess I started all that in 98. No, in, I don't know, 2000.
Wow.
2000 was when I started training.
Well, and then I hope to have you back, because the whole cooking class is very intriguing to me, and maybe you could be in the kitchen the next time we talk.
Ooh, that would be fun.
Yeah, talk and healthy foods too.
What is this picture?
Oh, we have a picture of you, and it said, I think it was a run. You can't see the screen. What one? FAAN walk. What are you doing there?
So that was some of the practitioners at Nourished Health Center. We got together and did a food allergy walk to raise awareness about food allergies. So we have another practitioner at the center that also specializes in psychotherapy for folks that have food allergies. And we just Nourished Health Center has attracted a lot of practitioners that are gluten-free. So we came together to do that.
How nice. That's very nice to hear. Katie, you have been a joy. Thank you so much. I know how busy you are. And everybody, get on her website. You can schedule an appointment. She sends you, what was that called again that you send to everybody?
A metabolic assessment.
That I have on my laptop. So I don't know if I sent that to you, and I have to make the appointment, because I just think you're full of information, and I could talk your ears off, but I know you have to go to sleep. So I'll let you go.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Kathy. I really appreciate you having me on, and it's nice to talk to somebody from the Northwest. I'm in the Seattle area, so it's great to get to talk to you.
It was so nice to talk to you, and this won't be the last time. I hope to have you again as a guest.
Great. I would love that.
Thanks again. So this was, I have to say, one of my favorite episodes, because I'm constantly trying to figure out ways to get healthier as I grow older too. So the next one, we have a great show next week, but How about everybody jump on to GFreeandHappy.com and check out my Facebook page. I'd love to get some likes on it. I'm on Twitter at Kathy K. Nelson, and I'm on Instagram. I'm addicted to Pinterest. I'm also on YouTube and iTunes, so subscribe to those. Until next week, thank you again for watching. I had a great time.